Hi, and welcome to season 5 of the Lit Gals. Oh, we are so excited to be back. Not really excited to see summer ending, but we're really excited to be back with you. We have a big announcement. On top of it being season 5, we have a big announcement. We'll save that for just a second. So I'm Martie Hoofer, the digital content manager for Keep Indiana Learning, and a very proud member of the Lit Gals. And Morgan, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that we're back. My name is Morgan Mason. I am one of the professional learning specialists here at the Keep Indiana Learning team. So I live in that early literacy world most of my time here. And Anna?
Hello, my name is Anna Cook, and I am a literacy specialist all around Indiana and neighboring states. And I am so excited about this new season and new look. Isn't this lovely? Yeah. And it's just wonderful to be back with you guys.
And on top of our new visual look, now we have a new platform. We are now a part of the Keep Indiana Learning Podcast Network. So if you prefer to listen as opposed to watch, we're there for you. So all the places you find your favorite podcast, find the Keep Indiana Learning Podcast Network, and we are one of the shows under there. So ladies, it does mean we cannot just hold up our books anymore. We have to make sure we say titles. But if we happen to forget to mention a title and we just hold up a book for our podcast listeners, always in our show notes, I list every book we discuss, even the ones we talk about that we didn't intend to talk about that just kind of come up. I always keep a piece of paper and a pen handy during our shows to jot down all the books we talk about. So you can always find everything down in our show notes, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast device, podcast app, whatever that right word is. So we are excited to be back. And hey, it was summer. Anna, Talk about summer. You had some fun travels.
It was a summer. Well, first of all, girls, you know, Anna doesn't like the heat too much and the humidity. Woo. It's been hot. It's been humid.
Yes.
But I will tell you this. I was able to go to Nantucket this summer. So lovely. But you remember who Anna's favorite author, Ellen Hildebrand. She is from Nantucket and she lives there all year round.
Oh,
yeah.
That's where so many of her books are, the setting is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you something. I went to the not library, but the bookstore that she frequents to a lot. And I got this sweet book. It's called The Blue Book. It is an autographed copy. But it's a guide to Nantucket, and what a lovely, lovely book. So don't think that I didn't use this when I was in Nantucket. It was wonderful. It was just great. So, So Morgan, what about you? What's going on with you? How did everything go this summer with the boys?
Yeah, well, first of all, we've already talked about this, but I will be borrowing that blue book when I make it to Nantucket one day, because it's on my list, especially after diving into some of her books this summer. Summer was busy, you know, having 2 toddlers at home, and we're expecting a little girl in November, as you two know. So it's been a hot, busy summer. But something that I did for myself this summer that has been so good for me is every night, because it's so hot during the day, nighttime is the best time to do it. Once the kids are in bed, I have been taking a walk in the evenings, and I'm either listening to a book or I've really dove into podcasts. Jenna Bush Hager, you know, I love her podcast. So I've listened to a lot of hers, and I've just really dove into my love of books in a different way, I guess. And it fills my cup at the end of the day to get some exercise in, and then just hear from authors. Like, there are so many great podcasts out there where authors have been on and talked about what inspires them and their next project, all that. So that has been really good for me this summer. So that's a highlight for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Martie, so I have not done much traveling. I have spent a lot of time on my back porch reading, which I just love to do. But Morgan, something I thought of as you were talking, something I did for myself this summer is I started making my weekends social media free. And that has been a game changer for me. I'm not a real hard stickler on like what time, but sometime like Friday after lunch or after work, sometime that part of Friday until sometime after church lets out on Sunday, no social media, which means if I finish a book, I have to wait to post it. But it's been really good for me because I found myself wasting what I felt like was too much of my weekends just scrolling. And I would like, Martie, you could be reading a book instead of like 140 characters of someone's hot take. Right. And so that has been very good for me. It started accidentally, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I've found it so refreshing.
Oh, that's so great, Martie. I mean, that's huge for you. Not that you were a junkie, but you really utilize social media, for information and things like that. So good for you to recognize that and then to act upon it.
Yeah, at first I found Fridays very hard. Like I wanted to scroll. And now I find when Sunday rolls back around, I'm not as quick to jump on it as I was. So it's very interesting to watch that in myself. So I don't know.
You.
Yeah, that was my summer thing. And now my ongoing thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that kind of is the perfect segue into our topic for today, because I'm sure that especially those first few weeks of you doing that, it was kind of getting out of your comfort zone and figuring out how to fill your time in different ways.
Yes.
So what that kind of leads us to what we're going to talk about today, which is reading outside of our comfort zone. So as we were planning for this next season of the Lit Gals, something that we talked about is we're all involved in book clubs. We are all kind of challenging ourselves in what we're reading and kind of reading books that we wouldn't normally choose for ourselves. Not the typical beach read that is just comfortable, but what books are going to challenge us and make us think about things differently.
Yeah.
So as I was thinking about this from a first grade teacher lens or an elementary school teacher lens, I didn't have immediate like, oh, these are books that I go to right away. So I shifted my thinking a little bit and I thought more about how, like this time of year, how are kids being pushed out of their comfort zone? Maybe not even in the books that they're reading, but just life in general. And it's back to school season. So they're all going back to school. So what I did was I did a little research and ended up ordering 3 new books because I realized that I didn't have any like go-tos for kiddos and helping them think about getting outside of their comfort zone. So I want to highlight one of them today that I'm really excited about. Not only reading to my kids one day when like they're in school, but it seems like a great read. So I have a picture of it because like I said, I had to order it. I couldn't get it at the library either. But it is called The Day You Begin. The cover is so pretty. And it's by Jacqueline Woodson. So it's called The Day You Begin.
Oh, Jackie Woodson is a fave. Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, so it's all about really, I mean, there's so many books about the first day of school jitters and going back to school, but this one specifically talks about getting out of your comfort zone and taking on things that make you uncomfortable and being scared and how it's okay to be scared. So, like I said, I just did a little research to find this and then a couple others that I ended up purchasing for myself. But that was kind of my take on it, is thinking about the lens of an elementary school teacher. How did I, especially at the start of the school year, get kiddos out of their comfort zone? I mean, they're already there when they walk in the door, but how did I encourage them? How did I kind of support them through that? And it's something that I think I'll continue to think about now as a mom that will eventually have kids going off to kindergarten one day. Can't even think about it.
It's so interesting that you should mention that, Morgan, about going off to school and everything. I don't know if if there's just been a lot on social media talking about going back to school, etc. But my middle grandson is going off to first grade. Mm. And so I've been thinking a lot about that as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, scary time.
Yeah. And Morgan, I can't wait to hear about the other books you also ordered. Now I'm curious about which ones you didn't share today, and about, do you work them in other ways, or just, so I'm anxious to see what else you talk about with this idea going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Anna, talk to us about reading outside your comfort zone. What's that mean to you? Because for our listeners and our viewers, we talk about these topics and we just come up with big ideas, and then we don't talk about it anymore. We just let it sit there, and all of us take our own approach to the theme or the topic. And then it's always so interesting to see how these ideas come together for each of us.
So when we chose that topic, the first thing that came out of in my mind was about 2 or 3 years ago. I love nonfiction. I read a lot of nonfiction, and it was summer, and a friend of mine said, "Do me a favor and do nothing but read fiction." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "You only read nonfiction." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about that." But she was right. And so fast forward to the book club that Anna is part now of. It really made me read outside my comfort zone. There have just been a lot of books that I would have never chosen. And, girls, I cannot tell you how blessed I feel to be a part of that book club and being made to, if you will, read books that I would have never read. My life is so much more enriched because of the books that they have chosen. Yeah. So I thought about myself first, and then I thought about going back to school, Morgan, and just books on topics that may make kids maybe a little uncomfortable. Okay. And I did do some research, but the one was about, kids that might have anxiety, especially about going back to school. And believe it or not, I just picked this book up when I was in Nantucket. And it is called There Might Be Lobsters. And it talks about a little dog that has anxiety about going near the beach. And I read it to both of my grandsons, well, 2 out of the 3 that were with me. And then we had a little discussion about being anxious or not feeling really right about something. And it was good. It was a good conversation. So then it got me to thinking about others. And, summer is really, it's wonderful for kids, but it's also really hard to get back into the swing of things of school, right?
Yes.
They're usually with their brothers and sisters, and let's face it, they sometimes don't talk very nicely to each other, and and things happen, right? And then they have to go back to school, and it's a totally different ball game. And this is a book. It's called Each Kindness, and
it's the same author.
Exactly. I'm like, that's a Jackie Woodson book.
It is.
My gosh, I just thought about that. Yes.
We didn't even plan it.
No way.
And Anna, you are so right. That book, oh my goodness, it's beautiful pictures and stunningly beautiful words.
Oh, unreal, just unreal. And it does talk about the first days of school, right? And just, trying to fit in and what's going to happen. And oh my goodness, and just being kind to each other and to yourself, really, as well. Oh, what a lovely,
awesome.
lovely book. I did not put two and two together until you said that. Yeah.
Oh,
Jackie
that's awesome.
Woodson. Isn't that great?
She may be our go-to when it comes to children's books that get out of the comfort zone.
Yes.
Or help them.
And then the other one that I found, and this was such a good one, especially with the boys, and it's just called Love. And it talks about just the different ways that you show love.
Oh.
And boy, those boys had so many things to say about that. And it really did warm my heart of different things that they talked about. And it was just lovely. So this just talks about, mom making a cake and sharing it with another person. And it was just really lovely. But it does warm the heart.
Oh,
and it was called Love.
And did I see right on that cover it's by Matt De La Pena?
Yes.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, we are hitting the jackpot with the authors.
Not planned, girls. Not
Unplanned. Love it.
So really, I thought about, like I said, in two different directions there, myself and how I've grown as not only as a reader, but intellectually from the different books that we've read at book club. And then also books to help our kids out in these first month or so of school.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a little stressful. There's some anxiety.
Yeah. Well, I took a different angle when I thought about this topic, reading outside of my comfort zone. I thought about like what that can like mean. I don't know. Let me show you my books and unpack it as I go. I think it'll even make more sense in my own head as I unpack it.
We'll go with you.
Okay. You're gonna go along for the ride. I will say there is no Jackie Woodson in my pile. I am very sorry, but I love Jackie Woodson. Oh my gosh, I love her. So this is a book I actually talked about at the end of last season, The Inheritance Games. And there is nothing hard about this middle grade mystery book by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She has a whole series of these. There's nothing hard about me as an adult reading this book. But for me, this was outside my comfort zone simply because I'm not a mystery reader. And kind of like Anna, kind of you reading some fiction when you're so used to nonfiction. This was a stretch for me, which as I thought about this was the book that popped in my head first. And I'm like, Martie, it's a book for 12-year-olds. But it was outside of my comfort zone. So that took me, I had a little bit of grit and a little bit of perseverance to make it through that one, even though there was nothing, quote, hard about it, but it's not my norm. Anytime I think about stretching myself as a reader, I think about this book I'm about to show you. I don't know if I recommend this book or not. It is called Full Tilt by Neal Shusterman. And it is the creepiest looking book I have ever read in my life.
I was going to say, it looks creepy.
Yeah, the cover's a little scary.
It's for middle schoolers, ladies. For our podcast listeners, it's got this like guy with demony eyes and a Ferris wheel on it. And I'm not doing it justice because it is real creepy. So this book sat in my classroom and I one day decided I'll pick it up and read it. It started messing with my dreams and I was having nightmares. And I was like, you know what? I had to stop reading. I could only read this book during the daytime.
Really?
I've never had a book do that to me. So I decided this one qualifies as outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But kids loved it because then I would talk about it often. As kids told me they liked horror, which is not obviously a genre I read like at all. This is the sample of what I've read in that genre. Yeah. But it's so far outside of my comfort zone. Again, it wasn't hard, but it was just so foreign to me that I don't know. I still think about that book. It is why it's a great creative story.
Interesting.
I read it. Oh my gosh. I would bet close to 10 years ago now. And I still think about that book.
Think about it. 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Martie, I'm going to interrupt you for just a minute.
Yeah.
Because I think that those two books are a huge teachable moment.
Oh.
If you were back in the classroom, your middle school, my 4th and 5th grade, whatever class, whatever.
Yeah.
How impactful that could be, especially at the beginning of the school year, that you talk about books that you didn't think that you would like or that you were made to read, and how they really changed your look on different genres, or wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah. And even how you like persevered through reading.
And especially the first one that you talked about.
Yeah.
How you don't like mysteries. You don't want to read them.
Yeah.
This was a mystery, but you felt like you needed to go ahead and read it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh, what an incredible teachable moment. And, any time of the year, but I'm just thinking about the very first part of it, first month or so of the school year. And those kids, I have always said that we are the biggest role models for our kids and reading.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember I would have a novel and they'd go, "What is that?" And a great big thick novel. And I would say, "Oh, this is what I'm reading." And by golly, they too would have a novel.
Yeah. Well, Anna, you're right. I hadn't thought about it, that it's that being authentic and sharing with kids, like the struggles that they think you're an adult, you're not going to struggle as a reader. And no, I did not have a hard time with the words of Full Tilt. That was not the problem. Yeah. But it was still a hard read for me. And so there's a whole conversation in itself of, it may not be the vocabulary that's hard. It may not be, there can be other things that make books hard and different for each reader.
Right.
You are so right.
And we could probably do a whole show just on that. Just that idea. Maybe we'll put a pin in that. Like, what makes a book hard?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean being able to decode the words.
No, it does not. And so my last one actually ties back to something both of you talked about, book clubs. I read Madness by Antonia Hilton. It's called Race and Insanity in a Jim Crow Asylum. This book was hard because of the topic. Yeah. It's set in Virginia, Baltimore, I think. And one of the very last asylums to close. And it's just a heartbreaking story. But because of book club, Anna, I was forced to read this book. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad that now in my head resides this knowledge that did not before. And like you said, Morgan, it causes us to look at things differently. Yeah. Yeah. So there's my very eclectic pile of books. I think this is the most eclectic pile I have ever brought to this show.
That's pretty eclectic.
Yeah.
This is kind of a squirrel moment, girls.
Okay.
Morgan, last we left you, you said that you were going to persevere. If there was a book that you did not like, you were going to continue reading it. Or no, I'm sorry, you were going to stop.
Right.
The drag normally you're going to stop. That's right. Morgan's the one that reads it until the point that she's
that I'm miserable.
Ill.
Yeah. And I think it was at one point this summer, guys. I texted both of you.
Yes.
I had a moment. I walked away from a book.
So how did you feel?
It was empowering. I'll say that. I think I mentioned this to you all when I texted you that the book was making me feel so sad. And I was like, why am I making myself feel sad by reading this? Like, I gotta stop reading it. So I did. And It was good. Now,
Good.
it took a lot, but I did it, and I was like, okay, I've done it once. I think I can do it again.
Yeah. Well, and even that right there is a teachable moment for students to talk about your control of your reading life. Do we all have to read some things? Absolutely.
Right.
But when you're given choice, you're not tied to that book.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So Anna, talk about your summer reading. Or you're now reading, or you're both reading, or what?
Well, I'm just going to stick with the summer reads.
Okay.
Because, I was in Nantucket.
It's on your brain.
Girls, I cannot tell you how impactful it was that I read all of my Ellen Hildebrands when I was right there, right next door to her. Not really, but kind of.
But you probably felt like you were living the story.
Oh my God. It really did, girls. It really did. It was wonderful. And I told you that I was going to read the Swan Song, which was her last of the Nantucket series. So I did all of that. But girls, I've got another announcement for you. Martie, you may talk about our podcast, and this is our 5th season, but I too have an announcement.
Oh boy.
Good news, girls. Ellen Hildebrand is going to start a whole new series.
Yay for Anna.
Oh, yay. Anna's like, what was I going to read? I've read them all.
Sorry, girls.
No reading outside the comfort zone for a while. We're going to be firmly in the comfort zone.
Comfortable.
So she is already signed up for a 3-book series on private schools. Yeah, the setting is a private school. And she said it's supposed to be a little saucy, a little
spicy.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I read, but I'm going to wait until Martie tells what we also did together.
Okay. I'll do that at the end. All right. So Morgan, what are you currently reading, read this summer, whatever?
Okay. So I have to say that, my love I feel like I'm starting to become like you feel, Anna, about Ellen Hildebrand, about Jenna Bush Hager. I feel like I'm constantly name dropping her, but she talked about her. I know one of her podcasts was talking about, and I can't remember what author she had on, but it was an author who is normally known for having more of like the beach read, like feel good type of books, and they kind of redefined beach read, because a beach read or a summer read for our purposes is just any book that you enjoy reading. Like it could be any genre, like it really could. And so that had me thinking. So I really did challenge myself. I read a few books for a new book club that I'm in that were different than what I normally choose. And I also went to, per Martie's recommendation, the Lazy Genius podcast and listened to her must read. So I took some books from there. So I had a well-rounded summer reading list. I was pretty proud of that. But there's 2 that I want to mention that I'm currently reading, kind of currently wrapping up both of them. The first is a Colleen Hoover book, which she's one of my favorite authors. We've talked about her before. It's called Regretting You. And it's actually a new movie that's going to be coming out this fall. And they just dropped the trailer for it, which kind of inspired me to jump into the novel, because I knew that I wanted to read the book before I saw anything with the trailer of the movie.
Who's starring in it? Do you know?
I don't know the names of the female actresses, but one of the Franco brothers is the main guy in it. I can't remember which one, but it looks like it's going to be a good one. She has like so many movies or so many books that are being turned into movies right now.
Right. So I know you're not going to be able to believe this, Morgan, but I've never read any of her books, which I know is a crime in your mind. But talk to me about genre. Like in my head, she's like rom-commy, but maybe more on the rom and less on the com.
I'd say more on the rom, less on the com. A lot of her stories have like something really unfortunate happens, and then the characters having to overcome it.
Got it.
She's also written a few really dark stories. Like there's one coming out. It's actually being turned into a movie as well, Verity.
Oh,
that it was an intense read. Like it's one of those books, Martie, that I'm still thinking about years later after reading it. So she's kind of, I'd say she definitely falls more into that romance category, but she surprised me with just how she's kind of branched out with some of her writing. So I think she's fabulous. So I'll look back at my Colleen Hoover list and maybe refer you to one that I think you would enjoy.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then the other one I want to mention that I'm listening to right now is my husband and I are in our own little book club, parenting book club. We both listen to The Anxious Generation, which I talked about. And then now we're listening to, it's called The Coddling of the American Mind, How Good Intentions and Bad Ideas Are Setting Up a Generation for Failure.
Oh.
Yes. And that one's by Jonathan Haidt and Greg Lukianoff. That's been a little out of my comfort zone because it's challenging some ways that I think about things, and especially now as a parent, I know I'm constantly referencing that, but I'm in the trenches right now, and I want to protect my kids from every little thing, and this book is challenging me to not do that. Struggle. So it's been interesting. So that's
I can't wait to hear more about that book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll report back once I get through it.
Okay. I am currently reading. I feel like my summer of reading was very weird. I did a lot of longer adult, harder books. So I didn't like tear through books. I mean, I'm reading madness about, Jim Crow and asylums. I'm not tearing through that. But what I'm reading right now is Nick Stone. She's a YA middle grade writer. And I'm reading the second book in a trilogy. The second one is called Dear Justice. And I just started it about 2 nights ago. The first one is called Dear Martin. And this high schooler in Atlanta who ultimately, I'll tell you this. I think the cover tells you this. He goes to Yale. And life is pretty grand for this kiddo. He's got a friend that lives down the street. Life is a little less grand. And in the first one, Dear Martin, the main character, Justice, is writing to Martin Luther King. Obviously, Martin Luther King is passed at this point, but he's processing his life by writing letters to Martin Luther King. So now in the second book, Justice, the friend who does not go to Yale, who ends up in the Fulton County, Georgia juvenile justice system, is writing letters to his friend Justice at Yale. And the flip side of the story. I think I'm going to be thankful this book is short because I think it's going to be hard as a mom of a Black son. I'm anticipating this one being hard. But it came highly recommended. I love Nick Stone a lot. So that's what I'm currently reading. But the interesting thing that all 3 of us did this summer is we all read Summer Sisters by Judy Blume. Because we had our own little book club.
Yes, we did.
So I don't know. We're over on time today, but somebody want to give a short little thought about Summer Sisters?
What I want to say about it, first of all, I'm really glad that the 3 of us read it. I really thought that was kind of neat to, think about what would Martie be thinking about or Morgan say about or whatever. So that was kind of fun. I will say that after reading it, I'm glad that I did, but it made common sense that she would write that after, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret."
Yep.
I thought, at first I was a little bit surprised. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit surprised. And then I thought, no.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a right next book. I don't know if it was the next book, but that's kind of how I thought.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I think that I didn't love it, but didn't hate it either. Like you, Anna, I was really glad that I read it. I think I realized that I had this perception of Judy Blume as like this children's book author.
Yeah.
And this was totally different than anything that I had read by her before. You know, it was a little spicy. There were some tough ideas, some tough scenarios that the characters had to work through. So I think that just kind of surprised me. It was unexpected because of what I thought of Bloom just from my past experience.
Yep.
It was good.
Yeah. I'm in the exact same camp. I'm glad I read it. I understand why it has stood the test of time. It was written like 25 years ago. It's quote old, but I understand why it stood the test of time. And I feel like, Anna, that it felt like the next right step of something Judy Blume would write. While it surprised me when I got to some of the spicy scenes, I'm like, whoa, this is not the Judy Blume I was reading in fourth grade. But Judy also understands her readers, myself, not still a fourth grader.
Right.
So she, I'm sure, moved herself out of her comfort zone. This is the perfect show to talk about this, that, you know, she wrote something different. Yeah. And I love it. So that might be a whole show topic sometime of authors we know in this. Like, I can think of a middle grade one right off the top of my head, whole multiple series of middle grade. And now she's writing adult books.
Yeah.
And
there's quite a few authors that are doing that. Even John Green switching to nonfiction. Like, you should explore that.
You're right, Morgan.
Yeah. So here we go. Maybe our longest show ever, but it feels right. Our 5th season. We have a new look. We're on new platforms. We all read the same book for once. I don't know. Feels deserving that this show might be a little long. So we are so glad you are stuck with us. We would love to hear from you, either comments on the podcast platform or on the YouTube channel. You can email any of us. You can find us everywhere on social media. So we are glad to be with you. And I forgot to pull up my part. I think I say be well.
Yep. And I say do good work.
And keep in touch.
Thank you, guys.